Have we ever discussed how much your talent show on All Stars 2 had an impact on my life through the impact on Katya's life?
Oh God, she is like, you got the rollover. Yeah, she really grabbed a hold of that moment, and
It spoke to her.
it's on the deepest of levels. But I love that she loves it so very much.
It's a great track.
Thank you. She performed that track
For like a year and a half.
There were places that I hadn't been yet, and I'd get there and they were like, are you going to do the same parts? And I'm like, yeah. They're like, great, because Katya was here 2 weeks ago and she did it too. And I'm like,
and
oh, that's
she killed
fantastic.
it, and she did the splits.
Yeah. I was like, work.
Hi, it's Trixie Mattel, and welcome back to the Pit Stop here on the RuPaul's Drag Race YouTube channel, where we recap Canada's Drag Race. Today we are in episode 9. We're almost to the end, and I had to bring in an icon so she could see me with those hands. It's Tatianna.
Hey, how are you, babes?
I'm so good. How are you?
I'm so good.
You've been watching Canada's Drag Race? Are you living?
Yes, I love it so much.
I will say it reminds me of, like, because you were in one of the earlier seasons originally, it has the spirit and the magic of some of those earlier seasons of Drag Race where everyone is just, like, vibing and not
Yeah.
trying to be anything. And,
Totally.
like, when fights happen, they're real. And, like, it has that, like, season 2 through 4, like, magic to it.
Yeah, I definitely get that. I love, I think whenever you start something new, even though they probably obviously have already seen all of the seasons of US's Drag Race, you can tell that they have that, like, ooh, that excitement. You know what I mean?
We're at the end of the competition, and, like, last week, Lemon went home. And so things feel very real because they're all favorites left, and they're all, like, I could see any of them winning. Oh, I can't believe Lemon went home. I haven't recovered, honestly. I was really shocked.
I know. I loved her so much.
So much. Beautiful, funny, talented, young. Reminds me of, I don't know, somebody.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, last week we lost Lemon, which was sad because I thought she really had what it was going to take to get to the end. But we have a top 4 now, and Tatianna, I ask you, is this the top 4 you would have guessed from the beginning?
I will say a lot of my favorites did make it to the top 4. So in that sense, in that regard, totally. It makes sense that all 4 of them are up there. There have been times where there have been a top 3 or top 4 where I'm like, how did you get where you got? In this setting, I understand why everyone's there. So I'm with it.
Totally. I mean, if we're going to be honest, I figured it would be Jimbo. It just felt like the energy.
Yeah.
I loved Scarlett, and I thought, like, Scarlett was going to happen. And because she was so consistent, I was like, oh, this is happening. I really did think it might have been Lemon, so that's kind of a bummer. But I don't know who Lemon would have taken the place of. I mean, Priyanka had some struggle weeks. So, I mean, she has lip-synced twice, so there was a couple times I thought she might be gone.
I always kind of thought that she was going to make it far just because of her personality. To me, made
Right.
sense to, you know, get where she's gotten.
So, we've talked a lot on the pit stop about whether or not it matters that Scarlett doesn't have a win going into episode 9. What do you think about that?
No,
I don't think it matters either.
I don't think it matters. I think it more so matters how much you're in the bottom versus how much you've won.
Only one person can win that challenge. So, like,
True.
if you were you almost had that win, that still counts because the whole room was impressed by you still.
Yeah.
So Stacey enters the workroom looking amazing, and she announces the mini challenge for the week, which is the queens are going to do screen tests singing the Canadian national anthem, Skater Boy. Oh, sorry. Oh, Canada. Now,
Yes.
how did you think the queens did during this? Which, by the way, I love America. This would have never happened on American Drag Race because people get so sensitive about the national anthem and, like, anything like that.
Yeah. I like that they made it humorous. I thought they all did really well. I mean, Rita was amazing. I loved everything that she
Rita
did.
is a psychopath.
Yeah.
And when Rita does these characters, she also understands going big and small.
Yeah.
Falling asleep is as effective as screaming.
Yeah.
Like,
And I really like Priyanka's also. Priyanka gives me Adore vibe.
I know what you're thinking. Like, on season 6, Adore, we saw somebody who was hilarious, charismatic, beautiful, and, you know, like, still maybe finding her footing in the technique areas of drag. I thought the queens all did really good. Rita
Yeah.
Baga really just, she is not afraid of the quick drag. Now, can I ask you a question? Do you live for the quick drag as a woman who can pull off being a woman, or do you hate it?
I hate it. It stresses me out. I'm not a fan. We've all done it, you know. but it's not fun.
Well, you're one of those people who, because you look like a woman, people probably don't think that your process has a lot to it, but you put on the cosmeceuticals.
Oh, yes. For me to sit down and do my makeup the way I want to do it, I like 2 hours. I can bust it out in like an hour 15. But if you just gave me an hour, I would feel like ugly.
Have you ever had that drag queen experience though, where you wake up late and get ready and you have to hurry and it ends up looking the same, and you have that existential experience of like, what have I been doing this whole time?
I have noticed that where like if I'm rushing, I think because I'm not so detail oriented, that it's like I'm throwing it on, and at the end I'm like, why does my skin look kind of great today?
Yeah. But you know what? If you like to feel the fantasy, part of getting ready is taking your time. You know, Alyssa told us on the last episode of the Pit Stop that she likes to spend like a minimum of a half an hour in the mirror talking to herself before the makeup starts. So like,
I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't do that, but
I have to do a 30-minute like psych myself into getting in a drag. Like, all right. So Rita Baga wins the mini challenge. Work Rita Baga. Stacey announces this week the queens are participating in the Snowball. Tatianna, do you live for the balls?
I love balls. Oh my God, I love balls.
I knew that
so
about you.
much.
Did you participate in a ball on Drag Race?
I did.
On 2, right?
On 2, yeah. I did Executive Realness, which I did well in. I'll take that one. And then it was like a teen award show.
And you weren't literally a teen at the time.
Yeah, I was 15 years old. And then I think we had like a big glamour, you know, an Emmys or the Oscars type situation, which I did not do well at because it was hot glued together and I looked ridiculous.
I feel like this is the episode where the homosexuals sit at home and judge. And well, let's judge, of course, but like, I'm telling you, spoiler alert, some of the looks in this ball were amazing for what little time they had.
Oh, absolutely. I was really impressed.
Amazing. Okay, so the queens have to do a CEO look. They have to do sort of like a walk of shame look. And then they have to create an Ice Queen Eleganza look from scratch. Now, Scarlett, Bobo, and Priyanka make it clear that they cannot sew. Does it still surprise you that there are queens on Drag Race from any nation that can't sew?
No. Sewing is not for everyone. I'm sorry.
And neither is preparation and studying, which drag queens also don't excel at.
Well, I get it. It's great to go into it knowing how to sew. Like, you know it's going to help you. But that's a skill set that not everyone can conquer. I'm sorry. I've tried it multiple times. It's just not for me. So I really don't judge girls who don't know how to sew.
They've had to do at least 3 construction challenges this season. So if you can't sew, oh my God, it's like not being able to, I mean, it's sort of like, I would equate it to like a language barrier.
Yeah.
It's that big of a thing that like, if you can't sew, you're gonna have to do everything the long way with trial and error. Even on like All Stars, I remember Shangela, she was trying to figure out how to sew and she was making a tube dress and didn't think to use stretch fabric.
Oh.
It's always gonna come up and it's always gonna be a challenge. But spoiler alert, there are some non-sewers who really turn the party in this challenge.
Oh, absolutely.
Priyanka specifically is going, let's say the Tatianna route, gluing things to a corset.
Yes.
I feel like you would be her vibe right now.
Oh yeah, I love embellishment and I love hot gluing to shit.
Does gluing things to a corset offend you as much as it offends Michelle Visage?
No, not in the least. Girl, bye.
If the silhouette and the look is right, I don't really care how it happened. Speaking of Michelle Visage, she is this week's guest judge. Yeah. Now, I know Michelle judged you on All Stars 2. Did you enjoy seeing her as a judge today?
I did. I like the way that Michelle judges.
I do too.
Yeah, she can be harsh, but it's constructive. And it's coming from a place of genuinely wanting these girls to be better and to improve and to grow.
I'm really with you. I really think Michelle sits down and says, okay, my job is to tell them things that they might not know that's going to make them better at what they're doing.
Yeah.
Which is why Michelle doesn't hold back, because sometimes she's like, you're not doing this right. And I'm afraid no one's telling you that.
Yeah.
There's a reason your friends don't talk to you like Michelle Visage does. You know what I mean?
I agree. I love Michelle.
I've never really gotten bad critiques on looks from her. I've gotten some pretty harsh performance critiques, but they're harsh because they're always like I knew she was going to say that because I knew I did a bad job.
I don't think I've gotten anything too harsh from her.
What kind of judge would you be? Would you be eat, pray, love, everyone wins? Or would you be a little more like, this is the tea?
I think I would start with baseline. Everyone's a winner here. You're amazing. But maybe if you did this and this and this, you could be better. I think that's just the best way to go about it. I mean, unless someone's like repeatedly just being horrible. And then like on the third, fourth time, I'm like, okay, girl, you look like
You're so talented. I just wish you would change the wig, the silhouette, the sound of your voice, your whole family, your name, your drag name. But I love you. So let's get into the snowball here. I love the ball challenges. Let's go queen by queen. So first up, let's look at Jimbo's 3 looks. I loved this CEO jacket thing.
I did too.
I wasn't crazy about what it revealed to or why it revealed at all.
There was confusion, but I liked it.
Yeah. What did you think of her après-ski?
I enjoyed Jimbo just because, you know, that whatever's going on in there is interesting. There's a point of view.
A point of view. That's really something that it's hard to verbalize, but like when you have it, like Jimbo does, it's so compelling.
Yeah.
Like conviction. She's like, I'm doing this.
She believes in what she's doing, and I see what she's going for.
That's what every girl wants to hear on the runway. I see what you're going for. That's what kind of judge you would be. Accidentally a bitch.
Oh,
I saw what you were going for. Go off, sis. And then the eleganza, what Jimbo had to make. What did you think of that?
I like the way that it came out.
I do too.
Overall, I liked the proportions. I usually like when she goes big like that, and I was down for it.
We need to have, as a woman-to-woman conversation here, an honest conversation. I feel like we shouldn't have had to import an American judge for someone to be like, Jimbo, your makeup is jacked.
Yeah.
Like this man. I mean, I know not everybody is, you know, Naomi Smalls, like drop dead beautiful, or a Tatianna. I mean, you're like 1 in a million. But Jimbo having so much conviction in drag, it just makes you want him to have the face together too, because you're like, I like you, so pull it together.
Like when she first walked in the workroom right in the beginning of the season, I was like, I knew what type of makeup I was being served.
Yeah, yes.
And like, I get it. I get what she's going for. Sometimes the execution is not quite on par, but I think that she clocked herself while she was getting ready, you know, saying like, I hate my makeup today.
At least she didn't like it.
I think she knew what she was trying to do, and she knew that she didn't get there.
If you think it's not right, the judges aren't going to think it's right.
Oh, yeah.
I will say this, Jimbo, with her look she's constructed this season, she's always ambitious. She goes big with the shapes, big with the characters, big with the concepts, which is much better than underselling it, you know, like going small.
I mean, I respect just going balls to the wall, and she always does that.
All right, what did you think of Rita's CEO outfit?
Overall, I loved the hair. I loved the actual, like, suit. The glasses threw me.
Hated it. Hated the glasses. Didn't match. Also, it didn't come off as a comedy look, so those glasses just seem crazy.
Yeah, if they were, like, normal glasses, I'd be like, okay. I mean, they were just very large and very pink. But overall, I really liked the shape, and I liked that outfit.
And then what did you think of the après-ski, which was a very strong choice? Would you say that it was choices?
It was choices, girl. It's choices. But I got a good one. I really was entertained by it.
Me too.
Yeah, it was funny. It was campy.
Not to mention that whore walked the runway in like a pink vintage windsuit.
Yeah.
You better work, you fucking bitch. With an L on her forehead, with like a middle part, like waving. What an idiot. And I mean, it made for range. If we're talking about 3 looks, like 3 different flavors are going to make each one seem cooler. So knowing that her third look is so severe, because bitch, this eleganza that Rita created was some like McQueen shit. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. It was so amazing. It was so good.
Amazing. And I mean, the way that she did sheer mesh on the eyes with stones, so it blends into her face, like her head looks frozen.
Yeah.
And the shoulders, cutting out foam, that's some veteran drag that like Priyanka wouldn't have thought of that. You know what I mean?
She fabricated that within an inch of its life, and it was immaculate.
Beautiful. And like her just minimal makeup with a frozen lip, with she made her fingers longer.
Mm-hmm.
And she didn't have a lot of mobility in the skirt. I mean, that doesn't kill it for me. How much mobility do you want from a frozen person?
Yeah, there you go.
So what did you think of Priyanka's CEO look?
I loved it. I thought it was hilarious. the tinsel, like the whole entire theme was there.
Once in a while on Drag Race, we get a queen who looks so like young and like dewy and like pop star like.
Yeah.
But she's not afraid to act a fool. And Priyanka's like that rare breed.
Yeah, she doesn't take herself too seriously.
I mean, honestly, it reminds me of Katya a little bit, where like if you picked Katya out of catalog, you wouldn't say that that's going to be a hilarious act because she doesn't look like she's going to do jokes. Whereas me, you think it's going to be hilarious, it's not funny at all. You know, there's that levels. I love this. I mean, this Christmas tree. That bitch really said, I'm just going to do full Christmas tree outfit.
And I feel like she genuinely would be really fun at a holiday party.
And I like that, like, while, like, Rita Baga plays the Walk of Shame as, like, hungover, it's fun that Priyanka played it as still drunk.
She's like, I haven't stopped yet.
This is you in Fire Island trying to catch the ferry at 11 a.m. Still in drag. That's you.
Oh, that's 100% me. I almost did miss that ferry.
I heard.
I know. Yeah.
I heard. And then Priyanka's look she made, I think, is really beautiful. The white frozen hair to the hairline. And I mean, let's be honest, it's a bodysuit with stuff glued to it, but the silhouette is right. And the train she constructed, I think that's what kept her out of the bottom today, is this train.
And I gotta say, when you got the body like that, do that type of stuff while you still have that body.
She looks amazing. And you know what? I would have called this runway look, Hoes Don't Get Cold.
That's perfect. I agree. That's perfect.
So finally, we have Scarlett Bobo. What did you think of this CEO look?
I loved that suit.
Girl.
Was that newspaper print?
Yeah, it's like newspaper print. And then with the hair, it kind of had ab fab vibes.
That I wrote down Patsy. Yeah, I loved it.
And then the après ski, this like bubble gum. Ugh. The fur on the arms, the fur on the legs, and then the earmuffs. This was a good fucking look. And Scarlett, I think, has probably some of the best makeup of this season. It's just beautiful.
Oh, yeah. She's a great face for makeup.
She has the real estate. She has bigger eyes, full lips, full cheeks. That's the kind of face that every type of makeup just looks amazing on.
Mm-hmm. I love the icicle things.
I love the icicles that kind of move.
Mm-hmm.
Girl, and she really was the person here who couldn't sew, and you can't tell at all.
No.
With this final look. It is beautiful. I mean, it's kind of punk rock. It's fur draped like I'm the queen, and the frozen mohawk with the wet. I mean, if I saw her coming on the corner for this challenge, I would start letting my lip sync. Do you know what I mean?
There you go. You know what it gave me? It reminded me of season 2. Was it the first episode that we had to do Gone with the Window?
Yes.
Bobo's look, just the silhouette of it, reminded me of Morgan's look.
Oh, yeah.
When she did, you know, with the big faux hawk, and it was kind of like rock and roll, but it was like, yeah.
Bitch, I'm from Chicago.
Yes.
Yeah, because it reads a little bit primal, a little bit tribal.
Mm-hmm.
Like glamorous cave woman almost. I hope she's not offended by that, but I just think this look was so successful. I mean, come on. Yeah. So during the judges' critiques, each of the judges show the queens pictures of their younger self. Tatianna, do you enjoy when they do this on the program?
Absolutely not.
I can't. It just makes me laugh. I mean,
not at all.
Obviously, everyone gets involved and like people get emotional, but I just feel like I'm always feeling awkward.
It's also just you're surprising them with themselves. They just got judged and they're just like, hey, what would you say to yourself when you were 2 years old? You know, like, okay.
It's a bold move on Drag Race, and they pull it every once in a while. You don't really expect it because they don't always do it. Would you have cried if they pulled that on you, though, at the end? I probably would have.
I would like to assume not, but all the times that I only cried on Drag Race like 3 times, I want to say, publicly.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Go on. That's
well,
a lot.
Those are 2 seasons stretched out, so that's fair. But I think if they did that, I think I would just be open, but I don't think I would get overly emotional.
I don't have any words for my younger self. I need to have a sit down with my current self, though. She's the one in danger.
Hold up a mirror. Hey, girl.
By the way, speaking of Priyanka being your spirit animal, were you living for her getting a little twisted and untucked?
Well, as I'm watching, I'm like, I have been there on Drag Race.
Well, you were also younger. You were so young on season 2. You were 21. What were you? Maybe 140 pounds, maybe.
Like, oh, God.
You were so little.
It was very tiny.
You had that body that only 21-year-old gays have.
Yeah, very
like you
bad.
have it for like 3 nights.
And then she's gone like forever. I'll never see her again.
We find out that the winner this week is Scarlett Bobo Finally!
Yay.
All the Scarlet Bobo stands, including me, are out here like, thank God.
Yes.
And you know, if you like Scarlet, like I'm sure you do
I
too,
love Scarlet.
we weren't watching going, well, you don't have a win. So now that she finally has one, it just feels like, see, girl, don't doubt yourself. You know,
Yeah.
I'm so happy for her. I mean, if you're going to get a win, get it right before the end because that's the freshest like in everybody's mind, you know?
Yeah.
So the bottom two are Jimbo and Rita again. Do you agree?
You know, I think I do.
I know. Rita
I
had my
do.
favorite eleganza look, but the other two were kind of chopped. I mean,
Yeah, I think it was deserving, but also, you know, it's a top 4, so like they're judging minor details and those type of things. So it's not like
so
either of them
hard.
did poorly.
Yeah, it really turns into who got the A+ and who gets the A-. Like,
Exactly.
So Jimbo and Rita lip sync to Closer by Tegan and Sarah. Do you stand Tegan and Sarah?
I love Tegan and Sarah.
I do too. They are so wonderful. And that song Closer is so fucking good. I've loved them since like
The 2000s.
probably college. Yeah. Like
Yeah.
people are like, there's these lesbians with guitars. And I was like, I'm in.
Walking with a Ghost is still one of my favorite.
Yes, I will say Canada Drag Race didn't have to do this, but they really have made the lip syncs like Radio Canada, which has been really fun.
Oh yeah.
They just had good music this season. I mean, I don't think Canadian musicians get enough like spotlight, period. What do you think of the lip sync?
They did so good. They gave it their all and they were funny. Things were coming off.
I know lip syncing in costumes made by drag queens is very like, it's dangerous behavior.
Yeah.
I mean, plastic flying off, like.
But I appreciate just ripping the stuff off that's not working, just so you can focus on what you're doing. Like, not even attempting to make it like a reveal. You're just like, no, this just needs to come off my body.
It's pretty crazy because this is Jimbo's first time in the bottom, and this is Rita's second week in a row. So it was a little iffy because I do think Rita let her have it, but it was like, this is Jimbo's first misstep. So like, I didn't really know how it was going to go.
I mean, she held her own.
Rita really let her have it though, I think, if we're going to really be honest. Like lip syncing with no eyes, like come on.
Yeah, I mean, that's true.
So it's no doubt Jimbo is the breakout star of the season. So her exit was amazing. Relatable content, laying on the runway and screaming, no!
Screaming, dragging yourself off. I loved her mirror message.
And then...
and then the just aggressive, like...
Yeah. Yeah.
It
was very like, I'm going to show you all how beautiful I am now.
Yeah. I loved it.
But you know what? I mean, winning is something cool, but like, you really win by having people connect with you, and Jimbo has no shortage of people like loving her. So she can leave, you know, plus you were in almost every episode. You got to show all your outfits. You can't be disappointed. Like Kennedy was on All Stars and season 7 with me, and she never was eliminated. So she got to show every look every season. And it's like, you gotta be thankful for at least like.
Oh yeah. I mean, obviously everyone wants to win, but
right.
I think just doing a good job and having people connect with you on a personal level while you're there does amazing things.
Tatianna, thank you so much for joining me here on The Pit Stop today.
Yes. Hey guys, love you so much.
And thank you for watching The Pit Stop. We've made it all the way to the finale of Canada's Drag Race. Make sure you join me next week on the RuPaul's Drag Race YouTube channel for the finale. Woo! Bye!
Do you want everything RuPaul's Drag Race at your fingertips? Then head over to YouTube now and subscribe to the RuPaul's Drag Race channel, and you will get all the episodes of everything you ever want, including brand new episodes of What You Packin'. Hi.